Arsenal now have a 92.9% chance to win the Premier League after their win yesterday. They're 7 points clear of Manchester City, who Opta gives only a 7.16 chance of winning the league now after their draw against Forest.
Wow.
Now, this week in the Premier League, the dominant narrative has been that the football has become increasingly boring to watch. And Fabian Hürzeler, Brighton head coach, only added to that fuel yesterday. He said the Premier League has to find a rule because that was not football what Arsenal did today. Have you seen a goalkeeper go down 3 times in one game? I think that says enough. So Fabian Hürzeler is not the first coach to criticise how Arsenal play. Nico, you think that's a fair criticism from the Brighton head coach?
He's allowed to think whatever he wants, and Arsenal did waste a record amount of time for their standards yesterday. But it's football, man. Like, listen.
Where do people grab these statistics from? How does someone know?
I don't know, but it's like out there with like official stats. So like, I'm not making it up. It's not like an aggregator account or a fan account that's trying to knock Arsenal. Listen, I'm curious to hear what you guys want to say because I'm trying to balance this out from a non-Arsenal perspective.
Who's Arsenal? I'm not Arsenal.
Are Arsenal?
No, I've never supported them in my life.
What are you talking about?
Are Arsenal fun to watch at this point? As a neutral, no. Does it matter to Arsenal fans? Absolutely not. It's not their prerogative to entertain us. Their prerogative is to win the Premier League. Win some sort of major title, right? In the Champions League and the Premier League. And where I sympathize, at least, I come from, at least my understanding, my football philosophy, if you will, win at any cost. Not at all costs, at any cost. Do what you can. And if muddying up the game and making it dirty and getting down into a dogfight in ugly 1-0s is your most tangible way to a title?
Well, you got to remember, Arteta this is his 7th season in charge at Arsenal. We've seen Arsenal play beautiful, scintillating football, connecting passes, breaking down teams, building out from the back. When Arteta first came, it was all about building out of the back and playing beautiful football. Remember, he was the assistant to Pep Guardiola at Manchester City. They had incredible teams.
Looks like he was the assistant to Mourinho.
But you would say, wow, okay. But then they finished 8th, 5th, and then 3 second-place finishes consecutively. You would say, okay, enough is enough. I need to win. Whatever it takes to win. So if that means we got to defend, be better defensively, by the way, in those teams where you say, oh, they're really attacking, they had in their back line Rob Holding at times. I went to that game at the Etihad when Arsenal were in the lead. You felt, okay, this is the big one for Arsenal. Can they get over the hump? They had Rob Holding starting. Wow. Jakub Kiwior was a center back. You had Zinchenko and Tomiyasu. That was the quality in the back. Now, you have arguably the best center back pairing in world football.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Then you throw in Timber. Then you throw in Calafiori. Ben White, who used to be one of the
Hincapié now.
And then Mosquera. But Ben White used to be one of the star defenders. He can't see the field. That's how much
I don't think we're talking about defensively. Like, I think we're just talking about, like,
so your question was, right? Should Arsenal want to entertain? Is that what you're asking me? I'm just asking you. What was your actual statement?
I think there's an
just trying to make sure I answer it properly.
Right. I just think there's an expectation from the outside world, not from the Arsenal bubble, right? That the leading team in the Premier League has to have like a certain
style of play,
very like defined, not defined, attractive way of getting it over the line.
I'm going to break it down into 3 different things. First thing, I think the first one we need to do is applaud a manager who understood in terms of the direction the league was going. Because let's be honest, Pep Guardiola has dominated this league for the better part of a decade, right? Has showcased a style of football that has revolutionized the way that we look at it. Teams weren't playing out from the back the way that they were. Goalkeepers weren't involved in the way that they were. They weren't making extra players, the midfielders being an extra man in both in defence and now being able to progress between the lines. Before Pep came, bought what was a prototype in Spain and brought it to England and made it the standard. Now I watch League One, I watch League Two, and I'm seeing players that haven't got the ability to do so, trying to play that way. So you could do one of 2 things in sport. And I always say this, right? I cover 3 sports. I cover basketball, I cover boxing, I cover football. When you go into any fight as a boxer, I can fight you at your game or I can fight you at my game. And how Mikel Arteta, who is someone who's been in that camp, said, okay, I could sit here and I could try to build a team the Pep way and try to beat him at his own game, which he has mastered, or I could revolutionise football and take in a completely different direction. And I think even Pep has made adjustments on what he's seen from Mikel Arteta. I heard an incredible quotation this week. Set pieces have now become a part of the game the same way that the NBA had to revolutionise when the three-point line was done. It's because football changes, football evolves. Yeah. And to reflect on what you said, as much as we want to sit here and talk about Arsenal's time wasting and their management, I can promise you there's a whole bunch of Italian managers from the 90s when Serie A was the dominant league across Europe that is sitting at home smiling, saying that was incredible game management for a game that could have been incredibly difficult. Away at Brighton, this is the same Brighton team that's taken 4 points off City this year. Away at Brighton has historically been a difficult game in the Premier League, and they went there and they managed it in the best way they could. They took the crowd out of the game, they managed the expectations, and they put themselves in the positions to be successful. As far as I'm concerned, that's what champions do.
Okay, can I pick some of what you're saying apart?
Please.
Because you mentioned the word revolution. Mm-hmm. I don't think, or I'm not seeing signs in the way that Arsenal's playing that it's a revolution. What Pep offers has changed football. It changed football in Spain. It changed football in Germany. He's come to the Prem and he's changed football.
Can I just respond to your point really quickly as to why it is? Because never in my life have I seen statistics about set pieces from goal in regards to a team. I've never seen statistics halfway through a season about a team, the amount of goals they scored from open play. I've never seen statistics about anyone talking about squad depth as if squads have never been built before.
Listen, I don't think the set piece component.
You don't think people are calling this team set piece FC?
Hold on. I give you a moment. Let me explain. I don't think this being as strong and stronger than anybody probably ever in the history of the Premier League is going to be a lasting characteristic of a team that's going to revolutionize the Premier League. I think in this season, it's almost like an antidote to everything that the Prem has been turning into via this Guardiolization of football. Jurgen Klopp had some sort of antidote very similarly in his time.
Listen, not even coach. He was the first one to have a throwing coach.
With his counter-pressing, with the gegenpressing. And it was so good in that one season, they ended up winning the Prem. And Guardiola, it was like the opposite effect to whatever Guardiola was doing.
But it wasn't just one season.
No, but you know what's so crazy?
Or for a time.
They won a Champions League.
They won the Prem one season.
You know what's so interesting about that comparison to Klopp and Guardiola? Go and look at how many records during that period, how many trophies did Guardiola win and how many trophies did Klopp win? And ask yourself, Jurgen Klopp, who's a serial winner in his mind to get to that level, would he have turned around and called that a successful period in his life? Would he have called that, I was the alpha, I was the winner of that period? Or would he say
successful, but not alpha.
Oh, okay, because at the end of the day, he won one Premier League trophy. So what are we sitting here saying? We're going to continue to just do things because Pep has set the standard and that is the way it's going to be?
But
and I'm going to try to beat
Pep in
his game?
They won. So this is what I'm saying. Let's say Arsenal wins the Prem, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think this way of Arsenal, the way that they're playing, once maybe it's reverted back to normal, where all the other teams heighten their quality, when City is back to the way, maybe they don't get back, but just entertain me. Do you think this way of the way that Arsenal plays is sustainable to be order to, like you say, revolutionize the Premier League and be a top, not top, the champion, the alpha in the Prem for the next couple of seasons?
It goes with the squad that you have.
Facts.
So right now, you have two of the best center backs in world football. You throw in all the other candidates with Timber and Calafiori and Mosquera and Nkapie. When you have that type of depth defensively, that's your strength. So then you're saying, okay, if teams want to not allow us to play beautifully, then we have to figure out ways to grind. When we talk about character, this team has Premier League winning character.
And I will just say very quickly, because I know Hannah's got to take us to break. For the last 20 years, I've listened to the narrative around Arsenal, and it's always been they've got a soft centre. They don't know how to see out games. They don't know how to defend properly in those big moments. That's actually a large reason as to why Arsene Wenger lost his job and his role and his position and his respect within the Premier League. They've done a complete 180 and become solid, and now all of a sudden there's not enough fluid football. You have to make your mind up as to which one you want.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this video from Morning Footy. For all news and insights regarding leagues around the world like EFL, Serie A, and all UEFA competitions, both men's and women's, don't forget to sign up for Paramount+.